The human experience. A recent conversation at Woodsong follows. The human experience is essentially the awareness of people, places, and things, specifically our own. Experience here and now. In the most absolute sense, our present experience is God's self-awareness, God's self-witness, self-acknowledgement, self-appraisal, self-utilization, and self-enjoyment. It seems to be ours, but it belongs to God. Overspreading this self-perception is God's knowledge of the contraries, what God is not, making what God is fully understood. To whom? To God's perfect self-image, the child we are. As we get this straight and begin to see the subjective idea, I am perceiving perception happening, I am awareness itself perceiving not but my own perfection, the correct identification becomes more and more the basis for our thoughts and actions. At this point, our experience begins to undergo greater changes. But Sam, this is the whole question. How do we go about making the proper identification become the basis for thought and action? Good question. How do we do this? By the conscious acknowledgement, knowledge acted on, that the ineffable, the supernal one, isness, reality, Godhead, is the only possible identity that actually exists and is, therefore, being this awareness I am here and now. Hanging on to this realization, we slowly let go the old sense of self. Who is the old one who says, my mind? We let that one go. Line upon line, the greater identity confirms itself, precept upon precept, here a little, there a little. This is the first step toward the rebirth spoken of by those who know what they're talking about. When the child within, the God identity, is really acknowledged, it comes alive. We feel it. With this child that we actually feel within comes a simultaneous refutation of the old bastard's view of things and, blessedly, a natural forsaking of them. We also let go the thoughts and actions that supported the old man's position. Suspicion, doubt, judgment of others' motives, and many forms of judgmentalism simply vanish. Would you say this experience is essentially God's experience rather than mine? In reality, of course, and not just essentially, but totally. But at the same time, the world experience is the time we are still saying, this is my experience and that is yours. It is also the time we're saying, this is good and this is bad. From the peak of the mountain, identity discovered and proven, things under our feet are, for the most part, understood. At this high place, one looks in retrospect to see without doubt that nothing but God has ever gone on. We understand without equivocation that the world experience is our own, step by step, line upon line, discovery and confirmation of the fact of God's allness. Yet, the child within us, which is the Christ of us, allows us to suspect this a long time before we're atop the mountain in conscious fact. Inwardly, we're claiming that no identity exists but God, and doing this sometimes against great odds. Outwardly, we're slowly beginning to live judgelessly, to see God in everything. Do you see? Hey, yes, I'm starting to understand. Yes, yes.